Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Clarity Hotline. So, I am reviving this series because I want to continue to answer your burning life questions to get you clarity on, you know, the things that might be holding you back. I believe that we declutter from the inside out. So it's not just about decluttering the closet. In order to really move through your life with clarity, you've got to declutter the mind. And so there's mental blocks in anything you do because everything is based on what you believe about what you do and who you are and how this world works. It's all based on what you believe ultimately about yourself. And so we've got these mental blocks in our way that prevent us from moving forward with momentum and confidence and power, right? And there are quite a few things we can touch on, everything from clutter in the mind to the body to the heart to the house. I mean, we can touch on it all. So ask me anything, fire away. My goal is to prioritize the questions that come on live during the Clarity Hotline, but I do have some questions that were submitted already. They tend to be more on the personal side, but really, I mean, nothing's off limits. If I can't answer it, then I'll let you know. If I need to still get find the answer and meditate on it, I'll let you know, and always, get back to you on the answer. So my goal is to try to, get through as many as we can. Again, this is the first one in a long, long, long time. And I want to come on every Thursday, noon Pacific, and just, chat with you guys and however I can be of service, that's really what my goal is. And I'm also going to be on live. So you might see my eyes popping to and fro from all these different cameras. And we'll just go like that. So bear with me. As we get Instagram going. All right. And so I'll answer questions on both feeds. All right, cool. Welcome. Okay, so like I said, the Clarity Hotline is to answer your burning life questions so that you can get clear 360-degree clarity on your life, to really build the life of your dreams, ultimately. And I talk a lot about mindset, motherhood, meaningful productivity, really cut out all the fluff that just keeps you busy and actually do the work that matters. Yeah, we talk about that here. I've got my tea. Anybody else? And this is my spring tea. It's a jasmine green tea with peach. So it's so delicious. Can you see the flower petals? I don't know what flower that is, but yeah, delicious. And yeah, I just want to enlighten you to a new way of thinking, new way of being, new way of doing that might get you feeling a lot better about your life. I wish that plant you could see the pothos coming down, but the leaves are way down there. So it looks like there's nothing in this pot, but there actually is a reviving, coming to life pothos there. I love my green plants, as you can tell. Anywho, all right. So let's do this. Okay, checking connection. All right, we're live. Clarity Hotline. I'm on Instagram and YouTube and taking your burning questions live. Ask me anything. I've got some questions already submitted, so I'll be taking both of those. And I got real crafty with my phone up there and my laptop, so hopefully nothing breaks while we're in here. But I just wanted to go on 30 minutes with you guys and chat about some questions that came in for the Clarity Hotline, and then I'll take any live questions too. But I honestly just want to help you get unstuck in your life, okay? So let's talk about it. You guys are behind the scenes more so on Instagram, and then I've got YouTube here. And welcome. Ask me anything. But first, I wanted to just acknowledge the energy we're in. So right now we're in a Pisces moon. And moon, you'll notice, it really affects your mood. We're just cyclical beings working in this seasonal timeline that repeats every 4 or 5, if you want to be all super quantum physics or whatever. Then you're kind of like looking at 4 seasons, right? Well, the moon orbits around the earth 27 and a half days, but because the earth moves at the same time, then it's about 29 and a half days. And so the moon is in one zodiac sign at any given time in the month. And you might notice that you're shifting, your mood is shifting just as much as that moon is shifting. And so today you woke up feeling like a little bit waterworks and a little bit exhausted, like me, just kind of like, kind of coming to a halt in your week, then know that it's probably because of this Pisces moon. Maybe you're a little bit more thoughtful about things, or you've been heavy in thought, and now it's kind of come to a head, and you're just kind of a little bit exhausted, and maybe down, maybe sad, maybe not. But just kind of notice those things, those nuances, and let's do a little bit of breath work so that we can clear the stale air of that energy, and bring us into the light, bring our clutter into the light, so that we can operate from a clearer space. Okay, cool. Okay, so if you can, close your eyes. If not, just breathe in and out. And as you take that breath in, think of it as like pure, clean, clear energy coming in and going out. Okay, and removing that whatever feels stuck and uneasy, unsure, anxious, nervous energy, just clear that out with every exhale. Okay, so with that intention, inhale and exhale. I like to exhale through the mouth when it has to do with relieving something and letting it out, releasing it in and out of my body. Feels much more calming and centering. And then if you have an exhale that's a little bit longer than your inhale, even better. So inhale, and then a long exhale, slow. Nice. Okay, so let's get into it. So I do want to give a quick little update. My dad did pass in March, and he probably saw me like completely MIA on social because of it. And not completely MIA. I did try to show up once or twice in there, but I am still in the grieving process, and I don't believe that it'll ever get easy to like see his picture or think about him and not cry. So he was a good man. He was a good man and good dad. But I do want to thank everyone for reaching out and being so kind and loving on social and in text and in calls and in person at the memorial service. We had two for him, one local to us and then local to his hometown where he grew up, born and raised. And we buried him there in his hometown at the foot of his mom. And so that was really special because that's something he wanted. And we were able to do that for him. And really, really, thank you. I feel the loving energy from everyone. I really, really think it's such a special thing. When you lose somebody, you gain so much love. So it's really sweet. Okay. So my goal was just to say thank you. And this is not meant to be a funny thing, but there is an Instagram account that I heard of. I haven't joined it yet, but I did hear that there's an Instagram account called the Dead Dads Club. And there is this camaraderie when you lose a parent with people who've also lost a parent. And there's such a bond there. Hey, cuz. Hey, Heather. There's such a bond there. And not to say, there's not a bond that with others that haven't lost a parent, but when you have lost a parent, it's just a different energy, a different wavelength, a different knowing, a depth of knowing, and depth of loss that you start to share with somebody. So my heart goes out to everybody who's lost a parent. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So anyway, today's call is all about ask me anything, any burning life question so that I can get you unstuck and clear and moving forward in your life and get momentum at your back, the universe on your side and all that cool stuff. I'm also on YouTube. If you see my eyes darting to and from on Instagram, I'm also on YouTube live. Check out my YouTube channel. I put more content on YouTube than I do on IG. At least for now. At least for now. But anywho, all right. So here's one of the questions that came in. What are you watching right now? And what's funny about that is I think what you're watching right now, there's actually like there's a lot of innuendo and they're in what you're watching. I think it says a lot about you. It does. I think it says a lot about you, what you're watching. And so I'm going to share it. And if you guys have if you guys think it's funny or whatever you want to say about me, go ahead and let me know. I'm all for what your interpretation of it is, but I'll be honest. So I am between Max and Netflix right now. They always get me. They understand me. They always put something out that just catches me and they can strap me to the couch so easily. And it's not a good thing, but they are my drug right now. Max, I watch Hacks. And I watch true crime because I have no commercials. It's the best thing. Versus Dateline on Peacock, I'm like in how many, like 45 minutes worth of commercials? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I can't really get into it anymore. So I watch my true crime on Max. And so Hacks and true crime. Hacks is actually really funny. It's really deep and thoughtful and powerful, and this loving, crazy bond between these two women is what has me. And so when I kind of need like a lighter something, which is kind of my mood right now, a lighter something. I'm not so heavy into the true crime right now. I'm like more into like, tell me something funny, get me out of my head right now. That's what I'm watching. So let's see. So I'm watching that. And then on Netflix, I'm watching Million Dollar Secret. So that's like a new reality show where the objective is to get the millionaire out. You get $1 million and you have to keep it by the end of the game. And so the money keeps changing hands and like you're suspecting people. I'm not really into these types of shows. I did try to watch Traders when it first came out because I love the concept of murder mystery. That is my jam. Anything murder mystery has me. But anyway, I loved that, but I hadn't caught up with it. But Million Dollar Secret came on my feed on Netflix. And of course, I was like, okay. So I like that $1 million energy. Come on. And so I kind of got into it. I'm not sure if I'll stick around, but I definitely want to see this first season to the end and see who ends up being the millionaire. And it's just funny. Reality shows are funny. They have their Hacks is good. See, Heather watches it. It's really cute. It's fun. It's good. It's really good writing. Good writing. And so anyway, it's light and carefree because here I'll tell you the second thing on Netflix that I watch. And this is where my head goes. It gets real heady here, guys. You're talking to the declarist. This is just how it goes. So I also watch, I finished the limited series. It's only 4 episodes, Adolescence. And it's this UK limited series about this kid who's accused of murder. And it gets pretty heavy and dark and deep. And it's just, I'm raising 2 boys and I can't get around what any of these kinds of things make me feel. I feel a kind of way about anything to do with boys and their upbringing. I think boys are just they're thrown around and categorized and stereotyped in ways that keep them locked in those roles and gender norms, and it just doesn't have to be that way. And if you've got powerful, confident, conscious parents, let me say this, present, conscious parents, I think we can change the trajectory of our men in this world. And that is what I want to do. I think I want to give more credit to guys than they have. And I can't not. I'm a boy mom. And so this is just my energy. I can't get around it. And so my heart is there. I love women. I am all about helping moms in particular, especially on my channel, especially on here. And but I do have a lot of heart for boys. I do a lot of studying on raising up these boys of mine. And so anyway, adolescence is just this dark turn down, like what could happen, when you disconnect with the upbringing of your child. And I think there is so much that needs to happen in the world of parenting that we don't know enough of. And it's this awakening to how we're showing up and how we're impacting our kids. And oh, yay. Okay, cool. Teen boy and 4-year-old girl. Love it. I love our parents. I love our parents on here. Thank you for joining me, because and my cousin also has 2 boys and a girl. So she's probably in the same boat as me, because it's like conscious parenting is where it's at. If you can be conscious to the path the kids are on, they're cognitively developing, they are unsure about anything. I mean, I've got a 4-year-old to kind of, I'm vibing here. I've got a 4-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy. And I recognize the slower pace I've got to be at to connect at where they are and not push them into my world of rush and go. And it reminds me to slow down. Being a parent of littles is reminding me to slow down. And it's reminded me ever since I had them. And I'm a person who naturally loves to slow down. I think my happy place is at home with my family. Happy place is at home with my family. And so if I can make that a really sacred, healthy, happy place for all of us, then that is my goal. That is my number one objective in this world, which kind of leads me to another point and another question that came in about, it had to do with business, starting your business, because I do talk a lot about starting businesses, but I do want to get back to what else I was watching on Max in a little bit. But onto this, let's stay on this topic of conscious parenting, because let's call it present parenting. We can even call it that, present parenting, being present with your kid where they are. And you've got a teen and a 4-year-old. So you've got a teenager and a little, which means that that's 2 different wavelengths. That's 2 different like agendas for the day. That's 2 different cognitive skill levels and motor skills and developmental range of awareness, right? Of self, of meaning, of path, like what's next for me, like right there. That's not so urgent a question for a 4-year-old as it is for a teenager. And so the different stimulating thoughts are what we need to respond to. And so we get to see like, okay, well, my kid is showing up this way today. And so I should probably warn the parent, and this is what I'm actively doing. I should probably warn the teacher, not warn the teacher, but update the teacher like, hey, he's having a rough morning because this and this happened. Just know that maybe when he sits down to like write his letters and his numbers, it's not going to go necessarily smooth. Way too chill, Lucky. I know. And I hate even saying that, right? I said, so we've got one baby girl is quick and eager, and then son is way too chill. I've heard a lot of people say that about their sons, way too chill. And I think, and I'm going to bring in adolescence at the end. And is this a spoiler? This is a spoiler. Ooh, sorry. And this is not life advice, guys. This is not therapy or whatever. So I have to disclaimer that, like, I'm not telling you how to be or telling you what to do. This is all my opinion. So let me just get that out of the way. But adolescence at the end, we're enlightened to some of the thoughts that the parents are teaching or thinking because of what happened, right? What happened with their son. And they realized, the dad at one point said, I took my eye off the ball. And the mom is crying, thinking, I am a good mom, right? I am a good mom. And the dad reassures her, you are a good mom. And they're both questioning if any of that is true. Like, did I do a good job? And that's a hard place to be. Fortunately, the boy is 13. I think there's some rehabilitation that could happen, and hopefully he can get out. And it's not a true story, I don't think, but it's very much based on true events, right? Doesn't this happen? Absolutely. And so you you know that I'm getting a FaceTime call that is gonna interrupt us here. And so I lost my train of thought. That was my husband. What timing? He needs to be on my live so he can hear what I'm saying about our kids. I hate to silence his calls, but he also knows I'm on a call, so he should, check the calendar. It's all about community calendar. Oh, I saw that. It's all about community calendar with your family. Just everything has to go on there. If it's not on there, it doesn't exist. Don't think that I can, I know what you're going to do today. And likewise, don't think that I have time if I'm, I put on the calendar that I'm busy at this time. So anyway, all that to say, be present with our kids, be present with our kids where they are. And that really requires a lot of patience, so much patience that it's exhausting, because we're not only patient with them, we're patient with our own busy mind. Like, they've got busy minds processing the world and every new stimulation and interaction, and they're like interpreting it at the speed and at the level of thought that they're at. And we have all these years behind us, all this experience, and we think we know it all, and we just want to cram all that knowledge into this 4-year-old body and brain. And it just does not work like that. In fact, that's a sad thing. It tears me up inside to think that we rush our kids around, and we think they need to be somewhere they're not. What I'm recognizing with my kids being so close is that, you automatically think the older one should act a kind of way, and because they're older and they've done a little bit more of this. And then you treat your baby a certain way because they're the baby, and you recognize that they haven't got there yet. But then you push the oldest one so hard that you think that they're still not the baby. They're still babies. I don't know. I'm developing this thought as I'm raising my own kids. But I think it's just a call to, this started as me talking about adolescence on Netflix, but this is just a call to slow down, be present with our kids, and recognize that, the energy you bring into the space really does affect them. All they know, because they don't have as much vocabulary as us, as much life experience as us, as much computing skills as us. They are working on vibration. So they know when something's off. If you think you can hide it because you're like off in another room, they know, they feel the vibration. And what we're doing is actually trying to sever the tie with their level of connection to vibration, and trying to bring them more on this logical side of life. Like, no, come over here, where I'm saying, no, I'm okay, and slamming the door. You're not okay, because I feel your energy is off. And so the more we tell them we're okay and we're not, and this is just an example, the more we tell them we're okay and we're not, the more they learn to distrust their inherent knowing. And so we're actively telling them not to trust what they know deep down inside to be true. Better that I say, hey, I'm not having a good day, and I don't want to take it out on you because I just feel really burnt out. I'm exhausted. I'm going to take some time in the room because you'll be safe out here with daddy. I'm going to go in the room, and then I'm going to be able to come back and feel so much better and be able to play and, whatever. So that would be a better response for my developing little boys to hear from their mom than I'm okay, and then, slamming the door. So, and all these compound, right? All these interactions with parents compound to create the person we are today. My interactions with my mom and dad created who I am today, in addition to my interactions with my my teachers and my bosses and my colleagues and my teammates, my classmates, all along the way, because I've done a lot of things. Um, Travel buddies, people I met on the, traveling. And so all of this is intel for who I am today. It confirms or denies. It confirms or denies what I believe about the world. And what resonates, confirms. What doesn't resonate, denies. And so I'm pretty much walking around life and getting solidified in my thoughts about the world, which either hinder my growth or help my growth. And I believe sometimes the way out of our problems or our situation is just a new perspective, because we don't know what we don't know. And oftentimes a new perspective might show us like, hey, okay, there is a different way to think about this. And this feels a lot better for me. This resonates a lot more than what I was thinking that was maybe holding me back, scarcity mindset, limiting belief. I'm going to go this way. And then we start to just kind of like vibe and find our path to, as long as we're following truth, staying true to ourselves, we're following our path. And I believe everything else will fall away naturally. When we're following our path, we're clear on who we are, what we believe, and we stand in love and peace and compassion, then we'll never be led astray. We will always be going with the flow for our lives. And everything else will fall away. Everything else will just fall on the banks and hit the shore and not come with us. So anyway, we can talk more about that if there are any questions, but there's not many questions on that. So let me get back to the other question that was asked about what are you watching? I was also watching the Baldwins on Max, and I love Hilaria, whatever. Hilaria. So Hillary in Spanish. She is a cool mom. And I remember seeing her, on Instagram a long, long time ago. She has 7 kids now. So that was way back, maybe when she had just a few. And she is just this really wise little lady. I think she's in her 20s or maybe 30s. As I know, Alec Baldwin, her husband, the actor, is 66. And then she was like 27 years younger than him. So in her 30s. And so, right? I don't math. Anyway, so she's just this cute young thing, but she is like a really good mom. And I love some of the things that she said. Like she says, if we don't tell our kids what is going on, because, Alec had to go to court for that shooting thing. And someone lost their life in that. And it was a horrible, awful thing. It still is. And I'm sure, the props people, I know somebody went to jail. Somebody got convicted, I think in the props department or something. Well, anyway, so they're going through all this, right? Well, the oldest daughter, who's 11, goes with them to the trial. And Hilaria says something about like, well, I don't want to leave her home because kids fill in the gaps of the missing information. Kids are always asking questions of us, aren't they? I mean, to the point of like, just, I can't take it anymore. I can't. But they're asking questions because they're filling in the gaps of life. You know so much. You're going at the speed of your thought and life because you know a lot more than I do. And I'm just trying to keep up. I love you. I want to keep up with you. I want to know what you're about. I want to know who you are. You're my mom and you're my dad. I love you. Keep me with you. Because if I can't be with you, if I'm not in step with you, I feel like I've lost you. And that is a form of feeling rejection, feeling abandoned. We don't want that. So we want to talk to our kids. We want to walk them through their level of understanding of what's going on. And so that's what she's not telling the younger kids about the trial. I think they try to keep that hush, but the 11-year-old is knowing, and she's trying to hide it from her siblings too. And so I think that's a lot of weight on her shoulders. So hopefully they address that someday. But he was let go. The case was dismissed against Alex. He's fine. He's good. But the kids are going to fill in their own ideas about your behavior. So things feel wrong. Oh no, something's wrong with me. It's about me. Um, Dad's going to jail. Everything's going to be ruined. I'm going to be an orphan. So many things that they could start to feel um, justified in feeling because nobody's telling them otherwise. Nobody's kind of helping them understand that this is what's happening, but this is why it's going to be okay. And this is what we know about the world. This is what we know about this case, or this is what we know about your dad. And we're all going to be okay. And this is what I know about you, that you're strong and you can do this. And regardless of what happens at the end of this trial, you, baby girl, are strong and mighty, and you will move through this. And we all will move through this. We will all be who each other needs, because we're a family, and family is blood, right? Blood's thicker than water, they say. And whatever you need to say to kind of like help them with this level of knowing what a family bond is and means. And so it's just touching. It's a touching reality show. It's just their lives. I think this one summer, I don't know if it carries on too much longer after that, but it's controversial and provocative enough because of Alec going through that trial. So anyway, I was watching that, and I love what she said about that. They're going to fill in the gaps with their own information. And then I also like what she said to her husband, who is probably a lot like my husband, kind of go. And she is not. She's not. She's a homebody, and she is a mom. And so she's like not trying to she needs some downtime. There's a lot going on. She needs some downtime. And Alex is still like, talking her ear off in this one particular scene. And he's like, what's going on with you? And she's like, she says, I'm in power saver mode. And then Alex says, oh, low power mode, like your phone. And it's absolutely true. Like I need in power saver mode. I can't laugh at your jokes all the time because I need to conserve my energy for the kids coming up in here and needing to ask 84 questions, get dinner made, fold their laundry, put it away, get them dressed as they're fighting me to get them dressed, or getting distracted, or not making it easy for me to put on their pants because they're just over here still playing with the game. Or, I mean, it's a number of things that would cause us to like, hey, I can't really be present with you right now because I need some downtime. I haven't had downtime. So let me have some downtime and then I'll come back to you. And so she says that, and I love that. And so now I want to use it all the time. No, I'm in power saver mode. I just let me get 15 minutes of just nothing, or just light conversation, but nothing that you're attaching my level of cognizance to. Like, don't think I'm listening to you to record or remember or set this in stone. We're not making any decisions right now. I'm in power saver mode. Don't hold me to anything I say. Don't tell me anything of importance because I'm not going to remember it. And you could do me that favor. You could do me that favor and not hold me to this conversation right now. Keep it light and lean, and better yet, don't say a word. So that's kind of like another thing I loved about what she said. And I mean, yeah, she has nannies. I did want to write that here. I wrote that in the notes. So she has nannies. And so she is able to, hi guys, she's able to, thanks for coming on. Some of my favorite people are on here. I'm also on YouTube. And so I'm back and forth here. But I just wanted to also acknowledge that, yeah, she has nannies. But, still, we need our downtime. Because even with nannies, you're not completely, you don't like stop the train of thought around your kids. You're absolutely still thinking about your kids. Okay, so what else here? Okay, and so this is another question about like, hi peeps. This is another question that came in, and this is the last one that was submitted. Anyway, we're answering questions live. We have a few more minutes, and actually I'm coming on my time, but I do want to just start this question, and maybe I'll continue the answer to it next week at our second Clarity Hotline, now that I'm reviving this and I'm coming on every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time to just answer any questions and get you unstuck in life around anything that keeps you just really confused and lacking clarity. And so that's what this call is about. But one thing that came up around mompreneurship, because I talk a lot to moms, and so right now I have a mentorship program for entrepreneur moms who are starting their entrepreneurial journey. They're starting a business because they want the financial independence of, having a business that brings in money so that they have the power to do with their money what they want for their families. There's such a power to being able to do for your family the way you want to do and still have the time and money freedom, or the time freedom to be with them, right? To take advantage of this money. So we want time and money freedom when we start our business, don't we? And a lot of times, and so much more than anyone cares to admit, I think, is that we start these businesses in an effort to build time and money freedom, but all along the way we lack both. And we don't have the time freedom because we're busying ourselves with so much in our business that we don't have the time with our kids. Or it's few and far between, or it's rushed, or it's stressed, or we're tired. And so that's a compromised time with your kid. That's not quality. We want more quality time. And then on the money side, we're not making the money that we want, right? Because we're inundated with self-doubt, and a lot of times my clients are anxious and unsure and not starting, right? They kind of start and then they stop, but they never really launch. And so they're just stuck at this like below 5 figures. And so I get them above 5 figures. We're getting them into the 6-figure mark. And so it's all about once you unhinge from the self-doubt and I think time management. So there's a level of like having meaningful productivity to your day. When you detach and unhinge yourself from the things that are holding you back in that regard, sky's the limit. I mean, sky's the freaking limit. When you are clear-minded, the path is easy. The path to what you want is easy. The steps are clear, they're laid out before you, and you just go. And yeah, granted, and we started this call talking about a Pisces moon, and it is like waterworks over here. But that's not to say that you can't still work within those down days. So make even your down days work for you, not against you. And that is what I wanted to say on that. And so we'll continue next week with our Clarity Hotline. If there's any questions, you can always reply to this replay and or comment on the replay, and you will see your question answered live next week, the following week, or hop on live with me and ask it right then and there, because I do prioritize the live questions. All right. Thanks for coming on. Peace. Okay. Thanks for coming on. Peace, guys. I let Instagram go, and I want to just sign out and say, we got this. We can do this, and you can do this. You can do this. If this was your pep talk you needed, yay, all the more power to you. But just come on live with me next time and get more of your questions answered. Peace.